There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold, and the Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen strange sights, but the strangest they ever did see was on the marge of Lake Labarge when I cremated Sam McGee. Now Sam McGee came from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows, and why he left his home in the south to roam, nobody knows, for he was always cold, yet the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say in his homely way that he'd rather live on hell. 'Twas on Christmas Day, and we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail, and speak of your cold, through the parka's fold it stabbed like a driven nail, and if your eyes you'd close, then your lashes froze, till sometimes you couldn't see. And it wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our ropes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed and the stars o'erhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me, and, "Cap," said he, "I'll cash in this trip, I guess, and if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request." Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no, and then he said with a sort of a moan, "It's this cursed cold, and it's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet it tain't being dead, it's the awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that, foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains." Well, a man's last need is a thing to heed, and I swore I would not fail. And we started on at the crack of dawn, but he looked ghastly pale, and he crouched on the sleigh, and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. And before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. And there wasn't a breath in that land of death as I hurried, horror-driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, "You may tax your brawn and your brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate these last remains." Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code, and in the days to come, though my lips were dumb and my heart, how I cursed that load. And in the long, long night, by the lone firelight, was huskies round in a ring, howled out their woes to the homeless snows. How I loathed that thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow. But on I went, though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. And the trail was bad, and I felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in. And sometimes I'd sing to that hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin. Then I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw in a trice it was called the Alice May. And I looked at it, and I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum, and then, "Here," said I, with a sudden cry, "is my crematorium!" And some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire, and some coal I found that was lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher, and the flames just soared, and the furnace roared in such a blaze you seldom see. Then I burrowed a hole in that glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so, and the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the winds began to blow. And it was icy cold, yet the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I don't know why. And then the greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking across the sky. Now I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with a grisly fear, but the stars came out and they danced about ere again I ventured near, and I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, "I'll just take a peek inside. I guess he's cooked." It's time I looked, and the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of that furnace roar, and he wore a smile you could see a mile, and he said, "Please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and the storm. Since I left Plum Tree down in Tennessee, this is the first time I've been warm."